So the Dune sequel has been greenlit, and you've watched Dune Part 1, and it left you with a few questions about what exactly happened, and maybe wanting some more details about the universe set up in the new film. Well, this is Exasperated Nerd Explains. Let's start with the ending. You may have been like, wait, Paul killed that guy? But he just had visions of that guy befriending him and teaching him the ways of the Fremen. Was that the same guy? Or am I being racist? Well, if modern schooling has taught us anything, yes, you are. However, your eyes were not playing tricks on you. The man fought Paul to the death was the same one in his visions where they were friends. This is because Paul's visions of the future are a multitude, showing different outcomes to events that may happen. If he had acted differently, he would not have gotten into a death match and killed someone. Bad Paul. Likewise, the vision of Duncan at the end is the vision we saw earlier in the film, but the book also makes it clear that there was a vision of Duncan with them, so there was a way that he could have escaped together. Whoops. Part of the sequels will be about Paul navigating through his visions to determine the best future as his powers grow. Onto the universe at large. Why aren't there guns or computers? Everything feels a bit analog, from the technology to the use of blades instead of guns. The simple answer is that the author wanted it to be that way. From the more feudal setting with an emperor and noble houses vying for power, to the more analog battles, swords or knives, like knights of old, in place of just, shooting each other. Hence the personal shields. Likewise, the universe of Dune suffered their own Terminator event with thinking machines, so those are outlawed, which is why the technology seems both futuristic and retro in places. The fallout of this law against thinking machines led to the rise of the mentats, human computers, which leads into another question you might have. What was with that eye twitch thing with Twofer? It's because he's trained to be a human computer making calculations and analysis. They decided to show this in the film, with Leto having him do a quick calculation on bureaucratic waste.
1.46 million 62 salaries round trip.
And they decided to portray this calculation by having the eye thing. Mentats can be identified with the marking on the lower lips in this interpretation. As you can tell, Polka Dot Man was also a mentat for the Harkonnens, though they didn't really have him do any calculations in the film. Why did the Fremen all cut themselves at the end? Well, the Chris knife is supposed to be blooded before returning it to its sheath, which is weird since she didn't in this scene, but it's tradition and sacred to them. What's the S&M spider guy? That's not described in the book, just chalk it up to artistic flourish to make the Harkonnens more menacing. Bald and brooding is in, and redheads are out as far as movie villainy goes. What does the spice do exactly? It does mention this in the film, but not in great detail. It's a hallucinogenic, but more importantly used by the navigators for interstellar travel. Without it, the Empire would be nothing, just isolated worlds with no real way to exert power over each other. The spice alters the perception of the navigators and lets them travel from place to place. Who are the Bene Jesuit? Like the mentats, they undergo extensive training in a sisterhood that grants unique abilities, most obviously portrayed in this story with the voice.
Come here, kneel.
However, they have many more abilities, such as Jessica being commanded to give Leto only daughters.
You were told to bear only daughters.
Their body control is fine-tuned enough to control the sex of their pregnancies. They are also another faction vying for power, manipulating the houses and Emperor to their own ends. Where do we go from here? With the sequel coming, it will pick up after the events of the first film, with Paul learning the Fremen way of life. After Dune, the original author wrote an additional 5 novels, and others have contributed more to the Dune universe as well. Whether it ends after telling just Dune or they try to make an ongoing franchise out of it remains to be seen, but it could be interesting. What did you think of the film? Did you have any more questions about it? Please let me know in the comments below. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content. Thanks for watching. Bye.